Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Helpful Lockpicker here, and the video I have for you today is going to be me opening up this American Lock 1100 series padlock. These are one of my favorite locks to work on. They have some really fun pens to work on. They can put up a good little bit of a fight, and they are just really cool locks. Here's the bidding on this one today, and we're going to see what it takes to get this lock open in just a second. Please stay tuned. Alright, so in order to get this American Lock 1100 series opened up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use top of the keyway tension in 50 thousandths, and then I'm going to use a gem in 18 thousandths. I really like using the 18,000 gems because they slide over the pens very well, and on top of that the thickness is just thick enough where it has some strength to it, but it is not touching the warding as you are working on the lock. So what I'm going to do now is start off in the back of the lock. Got a little click on 5, not too much on 4, 3, 2, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, another click on 5, just grazing each pen. Got a good click on 4 now. Now I have a pretty deep false set, and I haven't really touched 1 too much. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see where we are. 1, 2, 3, 4 is providing counter rotation, and the lock has opened up. Often when I'm working on my American locks, I really like to do some medium tension, and I just graze up on each pen and lift it just one click and work my way down. And then you'll be able to start getting these locks open much more quickly because these can be overset rather easily. So let's take out our Phillips head screwdriver here, and we will take a look and see what is inside this lock today. So this is a completely stock American lock, so there shouldn't be any surprises. But let's get started. So I'm going to take out the nut and the screw and get the faceplate off here. And then we'll be able to get our core right out. So this was a pretty fun little lock to work on. What I'm going to do now is, always on American locks, if I have the key, I like to relock the cylinder because I like to use the part of the actuator to help be able to bridge the gap when you use the plug follower. So I'm going to lock this right back up, and then I'm going to take out my pickle fork, and we're going to get the circlip taken right off. Let's see if I can just scoop down there and get that. Alright, so now we have the circlip off, and now we're going to start taking out the pens. So let's just try to zoom in just a little bit more here, and we will get a really close look at the inside of this lock. Okay, so I'm going to insert my key. We're going to take out our appropriate sized plug follower, and whenever I start to take a plug out, I always make note where the key pins are. Right now they're going to be on the top here. Want to make sure the plug follower lines up so it's going to be holding the driver pins in, and I'm making sure this part of the actuator is going to be able to help keep them up. So now we are pushing through. You can always make note on American locks, the part of the Bible that's protruding out is going to be the front of the lock. So we're going to put that down for just a second, and now let's get a really good look at the pens. So this was a 6-pen core, as it always comes, but it stock comes penned up to 5, and that is completely how these locks typically will come. So in 1 we're looking at a serrated key pen, 2 a serrated key pen, 3 a serrated key pen, 4 a serrated key pen, and 5 a regular key pen because it was too short. So when we look at the bidding code on the key itself, it is telling us that the lock came a 88532, and that makes pretty much sense when we are looking at the pens themselves, and those two key pens are just much too short to be serrated. There's just not enough material. So now let's take a look at the driver pens and see what is on the end side. So we're going to now push back on our plug follower, and in one we are seeing a serrated pen, and two we are seeing a, let's see if we can get that to drop out here. There's the spring from the prior pen. Looks like it might be a spool. Yep, we got a serrated spool. And three, we are looking at a serrated spool again. And number four, we are looking at a serrated pen. And in number five, we are looking at a serrated driver pen. So American locks have some really fun driver pens. They all come serrated. And just playing with serrated spools are really fun, but they can really throw off someone when they are first starting out. But American locks are often considered one of the more difficult low security locks, and when you can start to master them, you are really starting to get to a place where you can start to really move up in the sport. So let's just take a really close look at these pens right now. So we can see in number one, we got a serrated key pens going across, except for number five. And then in number one, we're going to have a serrated driver pen, a serrated spool pen, a serrated spool pen, and a serrated driver in four, and a serrated driver in five. When we take a look at the core here, we're going to see that it is a completely stock core. There have been no modifications to it, and it is a perfectly stock American lock. And when we take a look at the Bible here, you can see that there is no threading in there. And one thing I always like to note is when you're first starting out, sometimes you'll put these locks back together backwards. Always look for the part of the Bible that's protruding out here. That is going to be the front of the lock. So that is where you're going to want to put your first key pen and driver pen to line up with that slot right there. But either way, guys, this has been my American Lock 1100 series padlock. I own about 50 of these locks, and they are just really fun locks to work on, and I highly recommend you start learning to pick them. They are so fun, and I really enjoy them. I hope to pick through some more of these on the StockLockSunday series and be able to show off my American lock collection. They are some of my favorite locks, and they are really fun to open up. Just one thing I'd like to show briefly is when you are looking at the keyway of a American lock, when you see that you use an 18 thousandths pick, you have the complete keyway at your disposal. You are not hitting the warding, and that really gives you a great advantage when you are opening up a lock. You always want to try to use the thickest pick you can get away with, but that pick needs to not be scraping on the warding because that will take away a lot of your valuable feedback. But either way, guys, this is all that I have for you today. This is my American Lock 1100 series, picked and gutted. And I just thank you guys so much for checking this video out. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like it, please subscribe. As always, thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you all have a great day, and just thank you so much for checking this out.